Hi, today's episode of the Salvage Circus is about a pair of massive antique 1750s lead and copper corbels from France. They have royal connections and are among the best things I've ever seen. My name is Matt. I'm from the Philadelphia area and I deconstruct, reuse, build, and also sell architectural salvage. All the things you'll see in today's and upcoming videos are for sale. I also have a large collection of complementary antiques. If you are interested in contacting with me, you can get my email address in the links below. So now we'll take a look at this project. It's a really exciting thing, and like I said, one of the nicest things I've ever owned. It's a pair of really massive, they're 7 feet top to bottom, 9 feet side to side. They are old, almost 300 years old, substantial weight to them. They probably weigh in excess of a ton for the pair of them. There are things about them, aside from the fact that they're beautiful, there are things about them that designate them as being royal things. The porcupine was the French symbol of invincibility. There are different areas where there are scribes, mason squares, different things that were used in building and architectural drafting. The Bourbon kings were prolific builders. There is a tree of life with fruit out of it. There is the French royal lion. There are things along the side. There is a snake curled up through an orange tree, which has symbolism. There are more building things, square, scribe, things that an architect or a draftsman would use, a small hammer. And on the bottom, there is a large, fanciful mask. There was a lot to kind of do, a bunch of different steps to follow to actually get these. Among the first things to do was to acquire them. I had been aware of them for about 15 years and eventually was able to buy them. They were not in good repair and they had not been cared for well. So the first process after buying them was to come up with a way to move them. They're large, they're very heavy. There's a metal substructure, there's a 1/4 inch sheet of lead, and then there is a layer of copper that is both formed, pressed, and then hammered in place. And it's brittle. After 300 years, both copper and lead become brittle. If you bend it more than a couple of times, it cracks, even when it's thick. That's why these seams have opened occasionally that you see from place to place. So the first thing was to move it. It was all just kind of thrown on top of each other. It was in an inaccessible building. There was stuff both on top of it, behind it. The back sides of these are very rough. So when you get things that weigh a ton and they're pushing on each other, they're not easy to separate and you don't want to do any additional damage. So we did good. We came up with a strategy to move them. We had a fair amount of manpower, about 6 people, I believe. There was a forklift that could move it once it got outside and a trailer and a truck to strap it on. We took cushions, blankets, heavy tarps, heavy plastic crane matting so that it wasn't on anything hard so it wouldn't vibrate when it was traveling. And we did good. We really did no additional damage. These would be the other two back sides of the corbels. We got them here, and the first part was to kind of see what's there. There are some small pieces missing, but we did some work straightening and hammering and got them just intelligently laid out. Now, the next process is to see what to do with them. You know, I'm not really sure. The two ways that make the most sense from a financial standpoint is to sell them as two large pairs of mounted wall plaques, and then the splines along the back would be cut into pieces and used just for additional decoration or for wall art. The other thing would be to try and repair them some. The other reasonable use for them would be as garden art. You know, they're probably unique to America. These types of things are not common, and they're just not available. So as a centerpiece to something in a formal garden, they're pretty spectacular. So I'll take a little bit of time and think about them and think what is the right thing to do. I have a metal person who will come out and work on them some. He'll tighten up some of the places like where there's been separation. He'll make them a little sturdier. He'll do some things, and we'll take it slowly. We'll take it a little bit at a time, because obviously if you're going to sell them as a pair of plaques, you don't repair the spine and reattach it. So like I said, we'll take a little bit of time, and we'll see what makes the most sense. When you have sort of like a bigger, unique project like this, I'm never in a big hurry, and I don't mind if it stays for a while. You know, I enjoy all these things. I enjoy working on them. If it stays for a week or 6 months or a year or 3 years, I get to enjoy it until someone else finds a use for it, and then I pass it on to them. So we're in that period where we've stabilized it. It's in good shape. I put cement blocks and some pieces of wood under just so it's stable and supported, and you can kind of see what it was. But a very significant thing, and a beautiful thing, a significantly beautiful thing, and like I said, probably unique to America. If there would only be a handful. You will see big copper corbels that are American, that are pressed, but they're not made the same way. You can look around the back, and essentially what they would do, there's metal banding. They would form the basic shape of it, and they would just heat up a large vat of molten lead, and they would, in essence, just like you would decorate a cake, they just put molten lead on and sort of smeared it on and adhered it. It's a crude form of brazing, but brazing at that point and welding and soldering were things that weren't done till much later. So there would only been a handful of companies in France that would have been able to do something this ornate, this big, this complicated. So, like I said, we'll see how the restoration process goes. We'll see what sort of interest people have for various things, and it's an exciting sort of time to be able to get something this nice and then see it from the way it was to the way it is now, and then ultimately to its final use again. So I will have upcoming videos on other things. I have lots of interesting things and lots of interesting things that I've reclaimed from buildings. Some of them are very large, some of them are small, and I'll try and put out 1 or 2 videos a week, each showcasing 1 or perhaps 2 things from the collection that I have. If you're interested in antiques or architectural salvage, I hope you like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you get the same enjoyment out of I do. And I'll see you soon.